Recently, I came across the OVA for Gunsmith Cats. I can't remember how it came to my attention, but I was intrigued after reading a review on My Anime List that said it felt like a precursor to Cowboy Bebop. That was enough to get me to seek it out. The OVA was okay. A lot of cheesy fun, but it had nothing on the innovations that Bebop would bring. However, I also read in that same Mal review that the OVA was lacking in the level of story and character depth of the original manga. So I said, screw it, let's give it a try. I'll casually read this. Then I finished reading the entire series in under 5 days. Anything but a casual read. So keep this in mind when I approach my critiques that I love Gunsmith Cats. This manga is so over the top in every aspect of itself in the best possible way. Series creator Kenichi Sonoda loves nothing more than guns, cars, and beautiful women. Don't we all? And Gunsmith Cats oozes this in every last panel. He takes every opportunity possible for a shootout, car chase, or panty shot whenever the story will allow it, which is admittedly a lot. But it's not entirely style over substance either, because the characters all have very clearly defined personalities, relationships, passions, and goals that they want to achieve or discover throughout the course of the manga. The characters are what carry this series and make it special, with the plots never getting too complicated to follow. Side note, to clear up a misconception, this isn't a bad thing. Some of the best stories are the simplest, and are beloved for their characters' individual journeys and how well they resonate with the audience. Speaking of characters, Riley Vincent, our lead, is one of the best female leads that I've come across in a manga. She's a gunsmith by trade who moonlights as a bounty hunter. She's competent at her job, but never feels invincible, having to be saved by her friends several times and admitting that she couldn't do this job alone. She also gets severely injured during a story and has to take a back seat during the next major story arc while she recovers. She's very mature when it comes to her profession, understanding the dangers of the field she's in, and isn't surprised when she makes enemies who want revenge, or simply become obsessed with her due to her reputation. She's spunky but naive when it comes to finding love. She's just a very likable character to follow. Also, she's a mixed-race Indian woman. That's surprisingly progressive considering both its genre, and that even today we don't see many mixed-race protags in comics. As far as I'm aware, no American comic has had a mixed-race Indian woman as its lead before. Lastly, I'm not one to normally thirst over anime girls, but even I was like, damn bro, you have to make Riley so fine? The other characters also stack up well, such as Minnie Mae Hopkins, Riley's tiny best friend, partner in hunting, and explosive expert. Becky, a greedy, spectacled informant to the pair. And the final eventual member of the team is Misty, a lockpicking expert and former thief. The ladies all complement each other very well and are always a delight to watch interact together. The bad guys are also very charismatic and rotten to the core. A few of them actually get fleshed out backstories that will give you a look into why they fell into this line of work, and or feel the need for total control. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll stop myself here. So, we have a fun story, likable, relatively layered characters, and some of the best shootouts and car chases to be featured in a manga. This actually feels like a precursor to Black Lagoon in many ways. So, I can't recommend this comic enough to people who like the style of storytelling. With a caveat. This is the part I was holding out on. While Gunsmith Cats is a lot of fun, it's also extremely problematic. Now, there's the usual expectations of anime and manga, such as the exploitation of women. The characters get stripped a lot in this comic, be it for comedic purposes or for shock value. There are chapters where teenage characters get SA'd or worse. There's numerous upskirt and cleavage shots, standard manga stuff. But there's one very specific area that outclasses every other uncomfortable element by far. I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible since this isn't a widely known series like Dragon Ball, where even non-fans know the basic beats. But I'll have to spoil a little bit in order to explain the problems that are displayed in this manga. So be warned if you want to go in completely blind. That element in question is the treatment of Riley's partner, Minnie Mae Hopkins. Mae, like many of the characters in the manga, has a complicated past. She's a child runaway who had to survive out on the streets. Eventually, due to some run-ins with the mob, she goes into hiding at a brothel, where she's allowed to work odd jobs for money and gain protection. Eventually, she becomes a child prostitute to gain greater money. While those are all terrible things to go through and can be seen as exploitative, they're not out of the ordinary for this kind of story. After all, we are dealing with a pair of women who constantly go up against the criminal underworld. You're bound to have seen some things. No, where the problem lies is with May's relationship with her boyfriend, Ken. Ken is a man who found May hiding out in his car when she first started living as a runaway. Ken takes pity on her and decides to give her a place to stay and takes her on as his apprentice, at first teaching her things like how to steal groceries and eventually teaching her everything he knows as a bomb specialist. However, May falls in love with Ken and is heartbroken to find him in bed with a woman he met. Now, as the adult in this situation, you'd expect Ken to explain that he's 29, she's 13 and too young for him. He's her teacher, that there's a significant difference in power dynamics between the two. Just so many reasons why it can't happen. Instead, he explains that he can't because it's against the law. What? You mean to tell me that the only thing stopping you from getting Olivia Newton-John on this girl is the law? It's heavily implied by May that the two began a physical relationship while she was 13. Ew. Eventually, the two get separated, leading to the aforementioned brothel work. But in Ken's first story arc, he and May reunite and renew their relationship. Ew. Also, at this point in the manga, May is only 17. Ew. This doesn't last as the mob that's hiring Ken for his bomb services discovers his plan to escape and he has to go into hiding, leaving May behind. Roughly 2 years pass in-universe and May ends up reuniting with Ken again and helping him fake his death to escape the mob for good. Thus, the two restart their relationship and stay a couple for the rest of the series. That is wrong on so many levels that I don't even know where to begin. Well, I guess we could start with the fact that Ken is a pedophile. This can't be denied. He slept with an underage girl. He just is. Also, don't give me the "Agent is different in Japan" argument because the entire series is based in Chicago, and the creator clearly wanted this story to feel like a Western story. The next thing worth mentioning is that almost no one in the cast objects to this besides Raleigh. I think Becky questions the age difference once, but just the age difference, not the ethics of it. Even their friend Roy, the cop, doesn't take Ken to jail or even question the relationship. Although, to be fair, he might not have the full context. Hell, one of the best callouts of their relationship is a kid that Raleigh agrees to help out in a later volume of the manga, who doesn't trust Ken alone with a child on the basis of, if he's dating May, who looks like a child, what's to stop him from going even younger? There's even a chapter where May reveals that she began taking special drugs from an herbalist that would allow her to keep the appearance of a 13-year-old into adulthood. This is so that Ken would still be attracted to her when they reunited. Ew. Now, just to be clear, I don't think there's anything wrong with older men dating younger women. On paper. But no matter how you dissect May and Ken's relationship, no matter the angle you look at it from, it's wrong. May and Ken's relationship and the way it's treated as being okay is a gross cloud that hangs over what's otherwise an incredibly underrated manga. Seriously, I can't recommend this manga enough if you like crime and action stories, but I had to break all this down for newcomers because this relationship could risk ruining the book for some people. I was able to look past it and get to the good stuff, but not everyone's built like that, and I wouldn't be shocked if this were a deal breaker for them. Now, I don't like to complain without offering solutions. I think there are ways to have written the relationship to be less problematic. You could have made it so May never admitted her feelings to Ken as a child, and simply stayed and trained under him at a safe house for several months before getting separated. She pretended to be a boy at first, so why not? Next, don't have them meet again until May is over 18. Then May can reveal her feelings after helping Ken, and he can slowly fall in love with her after she helps save him from the mob. You wouldn't even need to change that many elements of Ken's initial 2 stories for these changes to work. That might still be a little sketchy, but at least this way there were never pedophilic undertones to Ken's feelings. If I were the editor, I'd also remove the herbs to make May continue to look like a child to attract Ken. Ew. That's just bad no matter how you slice it. It also wouldn't have to change the story. I have female friends who are only 4'11", have petite bodies and look younger than they are, but are still clearly adults. You could just apply this to May to keep her, as her nickname suggests, Mini-May. So, to recap, Gunsmith Cats rocks. And with everything I've laid out, understand that I come from the standpoint of a fan who wants other people to enjoy this comic that I've recently discovered and loved. I'm the harshest on the things that I enjoy. If what I recommend sounds up your alley and the problematic elements that I broke down aren't enough to keep you from soldiering on, then check out the manga and the OVA. You can check out the manga digitally right now through Amazon on Kindle, and I think other on-demand programs might have it. Currently all the paperback volumes are out of print, but Dark Horse Comics will be re-releasing a new set of paperbacks next year for people that want to collect it. That's what I'm going to do. And check out the OVA too while you're at it. Now, that one you may have to find through other, less legal means if you know where to find it, if you know what I mean. To the fans out there, do you agree with my breakdown? And if you don't, how would you rework me and Ken's relationship? Comment below to tell me how I'm a big dummy. Bye.